Engkanto el Bundok Banahaw, when near boundary between humans and demons va blurred. There are mountains that are not just high because of their height, but high because they are home to things that humans should not see. Mount Banahaw, located on the border of Quezon and Laguna, is one such place. People call it Holy Mountain. But those who have been there know that this sacredness comes with an ancient curse. Isabit, the sound of wind chimes. Let me tell you about a trip that seemed like just a summer hike, but turned into a face-to-face encounter with beings that do not belong to this world. The story is not mine, but Rogelio's, my quiet uncle, who for the past 15 years has never looked straight into the darkness. The harsh April sunlight, the laughter of students, the excited footsteps stepping onto an old jeepney. Rogelio's youthful face, his eyes still clear and curious. Narrator continued. That year, my uncle was only 21 years old. He was a third-year anthropology student, loved to explore, loved to learn about folk beliefs, and most importantly did not believe in ghosts. When a group of friends invited him to climb Banahaw Mountain, they thought it would be a weekend trip. A beautiful check-in place with cold streams, cool forests, kakanin cakes and buko water. Le driver's voice hoarse but pero hidyo kapag inakyat nyo ang bundok na yan, siguraduhin nyo na hindi kayo magiging ingay. Ang mga engkanto, tahimik silang nanonood. Minsan pumipili sila ng isali. Close-up of garlic, Rogelio's hand puts it in his pocket. Narrator. The warning is like a breeze passing Nilay. But there is one thing Nilay uncle always remembers, his grandfather's words. If you go to a strange place, don't forget to bring something to protect your soul. The group of people enters the misty forest, the light gradually fading. The camera angle from behind as if someone is watching. The trip begins like an adventure. But then, each person in the group begins to see things that others don't see. A little girl playing alone in the stream. A woman with a face like a stone statue. A friend started talking to an invisible person. And Gila, the time my uncle saw it in the tent in the middle of the night. It was too late to turn back. Hands digging into the ground. Evil singing echoing. Red eyes glowing in the darkness. Whispering, tulungan mo ako eh. Every human being has a door that should not be opened. For Rogelio, that door is located in the highest, densest, most sacred place, Banahaw Mountain. Rogelio, a quiet, bespectacled student, is writing in his notebook, Tagalog religious customs. Chio, whispering. The ancients believed that Engkanto lived in the middle of the forest, where the light did not reach. Cut scene, Chio leans back, falls asleep. Strange dream. A long-haired girl, back-turned, stands in the middle of the forest. The space is eerily quiet. The wind blows. The girl slowly turns her head, only half her face, no eyes. Be quiet if you don't want to be heard. Next morning, small room. There was a loud knock on the door. The door opened. Sonny, Cheo's best friend, smiled brightly. Sonny. Banahaw this weekend. Jeepney pituan, ready, anthropologist. Chio smiled awkwardly. The dream still lingered in her eyes. And near a jeepney. A group of Pitu people, laughing and chatting, passing around lunch boxes and coconut water. The camera panned to the driver, an old man, silent, looking far away. Driver, suddenly speaking, deep voice. Hindi lahat ng umaakyat ay nakakababa. Not everyone who goes up the mountain can come down. Everyone fell silent. Driver, slowly. Banahaw is the land of the Engkanto. They don't like noise or rudeness. New memory. Black and white image of Chio's grandfather when he was alive, sitting near the fire, telling stories. Grandfather, reminiscing. When you go into the forest, don't forget to bring bawang and asin. Not to ward off evil spirits, but to keep your soul from being taken away. Market near Lily Foot, Lily Mountain. Chio bought 3 garlic cloves, isa bag of salt, isa calamansi. The sales girl looked at him, smiling mysteriously. Sales girl, whispering. You're the one they're after. Lily Mountain Trail. The group began to climb the mountain. Chio was at the back. The surrounding space was strangely quiet. A cold wind blew through, carrying a light scent like wildflowers, but it was chilling. Chio, narration. I used to think the forest was just trees and streams. But that day, I realized the forest had ears. A hazy white figure watched the group from afar, half hidden, half visible among the trees. Narrator, whispering. And they didn't know they had been seen from the moment they set foot on the land of the nameless. People often say the forest has eyes, the mountain has ears. But no one tells you that there are things that stand between the two worlds. Not human, not necessarily demons. From that moment on, every step of early uncle and his friends not only left marks on the ground, but also issued in another realm, where invisible things listened to their every breath. Sunlight filtered through the leaves. Forest birds chirped, the wind blew gently. The group of Pito people climbed the mountain in an excited atmosphere. Chio slowed down, looking up at the mossy tree trunks as if whispering something. Kenneth, joking. Chio, don't let the forest bewitch you. Chio smiled lightly, but his eyes glanced towards the corner of the misty forest, where a white shadow passed Ila quickly. A woman selling goods sat in the middle of a small stall, coconut candy, kakanin cake, buko juice. Her eyes didn't blink, didn't look at anyone in particular. Joey. Grandma, give me a glass of coconut water. The vendor didn't respond. She poured a glass of water, then whispered something unclear. Sonny. What? Vendor, very softly, eyes looking far away. May nanghihintay sa inyo, someone is waiting for you. No one heard clearly. But Chio heard very clearly. While the group was resting, Chio saw a little girl playing alone, sitting and stacking rocks near the edge of the forest. No parents, no footprints around. Chio, whispering. Little girl, Bagi, are you playing alone? The little girl looked up. Her eyes were big, black, and empty. Chio was startled when she saw that the child had no shadow on the ground. Sonny called out from afar. Let's go, Chio. We're at the stream. The sound of running water. Everyone took the opportunity to wash their faces and drink water. Chio discovered another little girl walking towards the deep part, the water swirling strongly. He shouted, rushed forward, and pulled the little girl up. The little girl was cold and unusually heavy. Chio. The little girl is about to be swept away Ila the water. Suddenly, an old woman appeared behind her, her eyes glaring, angry. Old woman. Bitawan Ian. Ian. Let her go. It's my grandchild. Chio was stunned. The little girl suddenly felt light, broke free from his hand, ran towards the old woman, and disappeared into the forest. The group was confused and silent. Kenneth blamed Chio for interfering in the strange matter. But Makoa, the calmest person in the group, quietly approached Chio and whispered, Makoa, I saw it too. It's not just you. Something is following us. Joey burst out laughing, trying to lighten the mood. You guys have too much imagination. Chill out, go on trip, not make a movie. On the way, Chio saw the girl again, a beautiful woman with long hair and white dress as thin as mist. She stood silently ill at the tree, her hand waving gently as if inviting. But every time Chio called out to his friend to point, she disappeared. Narrator, slow voice. When people begin to see things that others cannot see, it is not a strong sense. It is a sign that your name is being called. Called to step out of the world of the living. Yilwi Ayes Banti night. That night, when the group rested Yila at the edge of the stream, Makoa approached Chio, sitting near the campfire. Makoa, I heard someone calling in a name. In the mist, Lila mother's voice. Chio turned to look. What did you say? Makoa, silent. But Lila mother died last year. The camera zooms in on Chio, the flickering firelight reflects in her eyes. From deep in the forest, several pairs of bright blue eyes peek out from the darkness. There are places that you can't leave just Yila walking. Just a glance, a breath is enough for something on the other side of the boundary to follow. For Makoa, Chio Rogelio's best friend, that mountain climbing trip was not a normal trip. That was when his soul began to be called Yili name. The camera angle shook slightly as the group of strangers walked out of the cave, a panicked scream. A girl fell to the ground convulsing. Everyone gathered around, not knowing what to do. An old albulario, shaman, suddenly appeared from the forest, calm. Albulario, soft voice. Hindi pantay ang daliri, baka nakasagi siya ng engkanto. The fingers are uneven. Perhaps they touched the earth of Engkanto. He took a handful of charcoal ash, whispered a spell in the ancient vernacular. Slowly, he drew the sign of the cross with uling, charcoal, on the girl's forehead, hands, feet. She stopped convulsing. A soft breathing sound was heard. Chio Rogelio's group sat around the campfire. Everyone was talking about the fainting incident. Chio glanced at Makoa, the only one who didn't say anything, just staring into the forest. After a while, Makoa smiled to herself, then burst into tears. Joey, laughing softly. Is this a rehearsal, Makoa? But Makoa didn't respond. The wind howled. The flashlight flickered. Makoa retreated to a corner, mumbling as if someone was talking to him face. Chio steps back. Chio, who are you talking to? Makoa whispers. She wants me to go with her. She said it's cool in the water, no one will hurt me there. Scene apat, garlic experiment. Sonny brings out some fresh garlic to hand out to everyone, just in case. When it's Makoa's turn, his hand pulls back, his eyes widen. Makoa, shouting, "Don't bring that thing near me." The group is stunned. Makoa gets up and runs out into the dark forest. Chio chases after him, her feet cracking on dry branches. Mako stands at the edge of the stream, facing a long-haired woman who is smiling. Chio, screaming. Makoa! There's no one there, everyone. Who are you talking to? Mako turned around, a face of panic mixed with joy. Makoa! Didn't you see her? She was so beautiful, just like the mother when she was young. A strong wind blew. The woman's figure disappeared like smoke. Seeing Anim, grandfather's memories, passed young Chio's mind. Chio's grandfather's voice echoed as if from afar. Grandfather, deep. There are people born with a cord to the invisible world. Engkanto doesn't call them ordinary people. They call them people with the third eye, the most fragile souls. Nia questions. Chio sat alone, the firelight reflecting in his eyes, his hand tightly gripping his notebook. He wrote the last line. Is it Makoa is being chosen? Is he the door they're looking for? Narrator whispering. And when the door begins to open, not everyone can keep their way. One wrong step and you'll fall straight into a place with no way back. Mako lost slowly under the moon. Chio wakes up in the middle of the night, a female voice still ringing in his ears. Ikaw ang sunod. The garlic is burned black. A silhouette passes in front of the tent. In every sacred forest and poisonous water, there is always an invisible line separating the world of humans and the world of souls that no longer belong to the light. But when that line is erased, what will happen when one person is chosen to become the conductor? The group set up tents. The fire flickered. Everyone was tired, but the atmosphere was strangely quiet. Chio sat on guard, his eyes looking far away. Suddenly a soft sirai rang out from the forest. Sony, sleepily. It sounds like a girl. Chio stood up, holding a flashlight. The Arai seemed to call his name. Chio walked to the stream, where he had seen the woman in white before. This time, she sat huddled under the moonlight, her hair disheveled, her hands clutching the ground like an animal. Girl, voice trembling, desperate. Kill me, please kill me before I kill someone. Her face began to distort, fangs exposed, skin pale, fingers growing long nails. Chio stepped back, stunned. From the dark forest, a small but strong figure stepped out, the old woman who had cured diseases with charcoal, this time wearing crimson cloak. Old woman, voice echoing from underground. Marumi ang kaluluwa mo. Hindi ka na nila tinatanggap. Your soul has been tainted. Engkanto will no longer tolerate it. The girl screamed, transforming into a half-human, half-beast creature, charging towards Chio. The old woman threw a handful of burning ash. The creature collapsed, letting out a final howl that tore through the forest night. Chio knelt beside the girl's body, eyes filled with terror. The old woman stepped closer and whispered. The old woman. She used to be human. But once marked Ila the Engkanto, sooner or later she will be taken back like death. Chio whispered. Then what about Makoa? The group returned to the tent. Makoa had disappeared. They called, they searched, but only heard the howling wind and a vague call echoing from the mountain. Chio touched the wet rock where the footprints were left, but the left foot did not have the groove of the little toe, the sign of a possessed person, according to folklore. Chio sat alone, head bowed, hands clenched. He remembered his grandfather's words. His grandfather's voice echoing. Engkanto do not take strong people. They take lonely, weak, and gullible people. Chio screamed in despair. Chio, I failed to protect him. Narrator, quiet, slow voice. There are departures without bodies, without mourning. Only emptiness and a call in the middle of the night. And when the chosen one has gone into the forest, no one is sure if they are still human. A handprint on the cliff. The hand glides lightly across the water and then disappears. Cheo is startled in the middle of the night. Eli, a familiar laugh. A shadowy figure stands in the middle of the campfire. No one sees it, only him.